From the dawn of man, we have fought and waged wars, us versus them. Tribalism is what runs through our blood, and there's one example I've seen since I was a child, all over the media. Do you want to know what it is? It's more media, but more specifically, the growing popularity of shows and long-running narratives. It's all around us, more media being pumped out than ever before in the history of the world. You can see it when you look at your phone, laptop, or when you turn on your television. Media flourishes and dwells among us, and there are two camps where that media falls, and unfortunately, the decision can't be made for you. You have to make it for yourself what you support and consume. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. What medium do you watch? You take the blue pill and watch live action, or take the red pill and watch animation? If you chose the obvious correct choice, that being animation of course, due to its vast creativity and unmatched level of visual beauty, now you face the real choice. Ass or titties? Will you choose the thick, fertile globes of cartoons, still growing rounder and plumper in time, or the voluptuous, pillowy, soft globes of anime, so developed and matured, yet still providing fresh milk to the masses?
Alright, originally I was then going to transition into explaining how cartoons aren't that popular, at least for adults to watch, while live action has been the norm and even anime post-COVID has become mainstream. I was then going to explain why anime became mainstream post-COVID, but Memes Explained, the YouTube channel, already did a video on that. No matter, this was only a section of my video and not the entire video in of itself. I will instead just briefly talk about my own experience with anime before getting to my main gripe with most folks when it comes to this sort of stuff. Now, something that Memes Explained didn't touch upon, unless I missed it, was that anime was already growing in popularity throughout the years. Now, he did mention that anime was mentioned in movies and had some impact on Western culture prior to COVID, but as already stated, I believe that that's understated in his video, as there actually was a bit of an explosion in popularity for anime prior to the pandemic, and that was around 2012. This was when the big three was still around, with their influence being everywhere in shonen and thus anime. This was also the time when SAO was the flagship for new anime viewers to watch. Yeah, that's right, you. If you were watching anime when SAO came out, you probably liked it. And if you were new to anime, then you definitely were a fan of, or at least liked, SAO. It was just that popular. Before, people realized it was trash, especially after the incest arc, and it became popular to instead trash on it. Now, I wasn't a fan of SAO personally, but I will admit that I did like it a lot. I mean, I was just a young boy, a young lad, so seeing Kirito solo a whole boss by himself was, for me, a watered-down version of Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. And online, it was pretty easy to find anime fans, especially since I watched anime basically my whole life due to stuff like Toonami and, believe it or not, Netflix. Actually, that platform has had anime on it even back then. Unfortunately, finding people who watched anime IRL wasn't quite as easy, and if I did find someone who watched anime, we could immediately connect on some level and become great friends. It was to the point that we could have hated each other to the point of wanting to curse each other's bloodlines. Rivals fated to fight to the death. But as soon as we found out the other liked anime, well, we became blood brothers. How you don't really think much if someone watches anime nowadays. Even normies watch it. One example is the artist for this channel, the guy who draws my thumbnails, actually used to think that anime was quite lame until he actually tried it, of course. Now he probably watches it more than anything else, but I don't see the same type of love for cartoons. This might just be because cartoons have never had that show to go along with a large catalog of shows that can be seen as good enough for older people, at least not in any recent times, as they've certainly had their golden eras in the 1990s and early 2000s with hit shows on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network such as Regular Show, Adventure Time, Gumball, Classic SpongeBob, Ben 10, The Simpsons even, etc. but recently there haven't been any cartoons that have been able to put itself as widely accepted for adults to watch. Some of you may claim that there are exceptions, but even modern exceptions are few and far between, such as BoJack Horseman. But mainly, any cartoons that are adult have been seen as just a comedy, the Family Guy parody medium, if you will.
Can you shut the fuck up?
As a lot of the good cartoons being snuffed out here in the US due to creative and corporate constraints. Now, some of you may argue that most people don't judge you if you watch something animated, and they'll give something like Pixar or Renaissance Disney as an example, a non-anime example that is. And while I don't fully agree with this sentiment, in reality even this is largely limited. Even people who are understanding of an adult watching this usually see this as just someone being nostalgic for when they were a kid, or as solely something to watch with their kids, or even worse, I just want to turn my brain off because this is for kids, so I have no standards for it as entertainment. I absolutely despise this last one, as not only is it the most derogatory and least understandable viewpoint of the bunch, but it also implies that we should have no standard for what kids should watch, which is just completely ludicrous. Despite this, I do believe there's some hope on the horizon, with indie works being taken in and embraced, with Digital Circus, Invincible, and Common Side Effects being taken seriously as standalone works. So this channel will, of course, discuss the merits of those shows at a later date. Really, we will be reviewing things from across all we will be reviewing things from across all the different mediums discussed today, and we will be posting about twice a week on this channel, so please like and subscribe to watch those videos. Alright, so after all this yapping, it's possible some of you might be wondering what the strengths are for these different mediums. Well, anime is good, mostly cartoons anyways. Anime is good due to its wide variety, its long history having broken out of its medium as just for kids, giving it the freedom to be anything. Anime is so unique in ways you'll never see in the West. Animation that feels almost shameful to create in the modern Western landscape are abundant and great overseas. Well, also anime that's probably also shameful over there as well. Meanwhile, cartoons are good in their own unique ways. Different from anime due to their different methods of storytelling, still being, in my opinion, very unexplored in its medium. However, it's starting to break out with stories like Invincible, Common Side Effects, and even Adventure Time's Fiona and Cake. While anime has in the past had great world building, there was certainly an extended period where that quality dropped significantly due to the explosion of subpar isekai anime. However, recently they have started to once again dive deep into their worlds with anime like Frieren and Delicious in Dungeon. Cartoons have had the boon of taking their worlds quite seriously, with some of the most creative and wacky worlds you don't really see in recent anime, as many of them are, well, isekai with generic leveling systems and generic Western medieval world building. Superheroes are also basically cartoon exclusive, with a large reason My Hero Academia standing out as much as it did, being because it was an anime with superheroes. At the end of the day, casting aside a medium due to bias is how you miss out on great life-changing stories. Like an old person saying all animation are for babies, disregarding a medium is essentially acting as an extension of that mindset. Now, as previously established, this won't be purely an anime channel. We'll mainly talk about shows, movies we like/need to discuss, so be ready for some blasted paths or commentary on recent hits. We have several long-form videos that have already been worked on and will be releasing this month, and will be releasing multiple times a week, as well as plenty of YouTube shorts, of course. Our next video will be on Fire Force, which has its finale coming out this month. So if you're a Fire Force fan or just a fan of anime, come watch that. Or if you're a fan of Spider-Man or just a fan of superheroes and or cartoons in general, the video directly after our Fire Force video will be on Spider-Man, specifically on the most overrated piece of Spider-Man media, Spider-Man the New Animated Series. Trust me, this shit is hilariously bad. And if you like watching someone tear apart a show, tune in for that.
Where? Oh, what the hell? This is concrete!
That's it for today, guys. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Also share the video. Also comment. I have no dignity. I will beg if I have to. In fact, I am already begging. Please!